Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Texas Chain Saw Massacre the game video. Today I want to jump into Nancy's ability the same way I did Danny's ability yesterday. This isn't so much a build video. I don't want to go into the details. I have one thing I want to point out about the ability tree. Other than that, this is just to focus on how her ability works and a couple things that you may not know about her ability and how you can use it. So similar to the cook, Nancy actually technically has two abilities. The first of which is called Spy, which allows you to see through the eyes of one of the victims, getting an approximate location of where they are. The thing is, once you get this level maxed out, it actually isn't approximate at all. As long as you know the map, you know exactly where these victims are. Now, with that in mind, until you get Nancy maxed out and you get up to that level 3 ability, that spy ability is really not all that effective. It's really hard to see, it's hard to tell where they are, but once you do get to level 3, you can put on clear vision at the top of her ability tree, and it makes all the difference. It's very easy to tell where victims are once you get it to that level 3. Now, there are some counters to her ability that I think you're going to start seeing. You're actually seeing through the camera of a victim, okay? So they can adjust their camera and make it where you can't see very well. As a victim, you are alerted when Nancy looks through your eyes, so you could instantly just throw yourself into a corner, make it hard to see. You could change your camera where you're looking at the floor or the ceiling, whatever that you may do. You can make it harder on Nancy players, but again, if you know the maps well and you have that level 3 ability, you should be able to get an exact location of where victims are. It just takes a little bit of time to get used to. Now, I will say, just in the 2 days that I've been playing Nancy, it has come in clutch a lot. We have caught victims on the fuse box that we would have missed, on the battery or on gen gates or things like that. We have saved games. We have saved 4K clean sweep games because of Nancy's ability and catching a victim at the last second. So this spy ability, it should not be slept on because it can be extremely clutch. So keep that in mind. Now, while this is not a build video and I don't want to tell you what perks to run or what ability trees to run, I do want to point out one thing about her ability. You can't cancel it once you activate it, at least not at this time. It could be a bug, but you are not able to cancel it once you activate it right now. So if you're on your ability tree and you decide to increase the duration of the spy ability, you are stuck in it no matter what, even though you probably figured out the location as soon as you activate it if you have level 3. So my recommendation, once you get Nancy up to level 3, I would take anything off that increases the duration of the spy ability, because it's just stopping you from getting back into the game and chasing that victim down. That's my only recommendation in that regard, but I would definitely use clear vision because it does make this ability extremely clutch. Now, another thing about the spy ability is that you can actually get it back faster by going to the poison tables and collecting poison powder that Sissy uses to get her ability back. So if you've ever wondered why you can interact with those tables or why they're there for Nancy, you can use them to get your ability back faster, and it's a lot faster, okay? So if you use your ability, if you're not back in chase right away, go ahead, get to one of those poison tables, one of the powder tables, use it and get your ability back even faster. It does make a massive difference, so make sure you're taking advantage of it. Now, on top of her actual spy ability, she can place barbed wire traps in gaps and open frames. These traps, however, unlike the hitchhiker traps, can be triggered by family members, okay? So if you set it in an open door frame and Leatherface runs through it, you will have to reset it, and it takes a significant amount of time to actually place and reset traps as Nancy, which is why I say if you're a solo player and you're solo queuing with Nancy, it could be a brutal experience. I definitely would take advantage of gaps instead of open door frames. But if you are on a squad and you're organized, you're on comms, and you guys have an understanding of where you're placing your Nancy traps and everyone's avoiding them, they can still be extremely useful, and they really help with map control. See, the thing with Nancy's traps, though, unlike hitchhikers, is that you actually have to go out of your way to get the barbed wire off of your feet if you are a victim that went through one of her traps. So if you go through it, you will take damage, and that barbed wire will stay on your feet. You will keep making noises, and if you continue to go through gaps with the barbed wire still on you, you actually keep falling over, and it will slow you down like crazy. So that's where Nancy's traps become really effective. While they don't do as much damage as hitchhiker traps, and they can be triggered by family, they do have a lingering effect that will stick with you if you don't go out of your way as a victim and get that barbed wire off your feet. So it can be pretty damn powerful. Now, just like Hitchhiker and the Cook, you can use the focus ability of pushing up on the D-pad on consoles to see your traps across the map and whether or not they've been triggered, which again comes into play for map control. It's really big. If you're playing Hitchhiker, Cook, and Nancy, you basically can lock down an entire map, keep your distance. You don't have to constantly patrol and check on things. You just use your focus ability and check if your traps have been disabled or if your locks have been picked, and that's a ton of map control. Games are long, you don't exactly have that big killer in there because Nancy, like the cook, although they have 2 abilities, they do sacrifice quite a bit in savagery and speed and endurance. They are support characters, but they're very good ones at that. Moral of the story, be careful where you place your traps and keep an eye on them because your family members might be running into them as well. And don't forget, they can be disabled by victims with a bone scrap, and bomb squad does apply to Nancy's traps, so you can use bomb squad against them, so you can knock them out very quickly as well. Now, one more thing I want to point out about Nancy's barbed wire traps is that actually the locations that they can be placed, there's a lot more places you could put them that you may not realize. You can actually take them into the basement and put them in tunnels. Okay, so at the edge of tunnels in those open frames, you can put barbed wire traps there and you can kind of lock down an area of the map. Same thing if Leatherface cuts down a open door frame. If he cuts down a door and leaves that frame open, you can now place your barbed wire trap in that door frame. That can be extremely powerful, and you're not really looking for them as much if they're in door frames like that. Victims are already starting to figure out to watch gaps closely, and that's still nice because a lot of them will just avoid the traps. They have to take a much longer path to get away from you, so it keeps the chase going. But they are noticing them, and you're not exactly getting as many hits as you would. Putting them in open door frames, although easier to see, can actually catch victims off guard a lot. So use your Leatherface. It's a good combination. If you have Leatherface on your team and you have Nancy, have Leatherface destroy some stuff and place your traps in there as a good cover-up for them. It's actually pretty effective and will catch victims off guard a lot. Now, last thing I want to talk about with Nancy is actually a perk, and I said this isn't a build video, and it's not, but something you should definitely keep your eye on is Poisoned Claws, okay? This perk creates a poison effect when you hit victims where they are stumbling all over the place drunk, and it's extremely powerful. Head left on your skill tree if you want to get Poisoned Claws. The only downfall is you're not going to have hurt them anymore, so your barbed wire traps will not be as powerful. But Poison Claws is crazy good, so just something to keep in mind if you want to be a Nancy main. But that's it. That's Nancy's ability, both spy and barbed wire traps, and a couple things you may not have known you could actually do with her. She is great in a team. If you are on comms especially and you're playing with some friends, she can be extremely clutch. The map control is unbelievable, and you can do a hell of a lot of damage with those barbed wire traps. And again, that spy ability, once maxed out, so stay patient, but once maxed out, can absolutely save your ass. You can catch victims when they're in the middle of an objective that you would have totally missed otherwise. Use it, take advantage of it. It can make all the difference. But hey, that's my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below, but that's going to wrap up this video. If you enjoyed, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. And of course, as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.